I am releasing this video to give you a critical warning about two upcoming events that will cause mass panic around the world. The first will happen in just 7 days. The second will occur in 56 days. My goal is not to frighten you, but to prepare you. In fact, the most frequent command from God in the entire Bible is simply, do not be afraid. And I'm sharing this now because God wants you to remember the unshakable strength found in His Word. Before I break down the urgency of this warning, I want you to anchor yourself in His peace. His people have absolutely nothing to fear. We have absolutely nothing to fear. Because these upcoming events, they are all connected. They're all God's plan. But before I go any further, I would like to take a moment and introduce myself. My name is Melissa. And I want you to understand why I am the one bringing you this information. You need to know who I am. I am an Ophiuchus, born under the forbidden 13th sign of the zodiac. There is a reason the systems of this world try to hide or discredit this sign. They don't want you to know it exists. They don't want you to know I exist. They didn't want me to know I exist. But there's no getting past me. As an Ophiuchus, I am hardwired to be a rule breaker and a natural-born truth teller. We are seekers who refuse to sit comfortably with the mainstream lies. We are driven to rebel against corrupt authority, shatter their false narratives, and expose the ancient mechanics of our world. That is 100% of who I am, and is why I refuse to stay silent about what is coming. Which brings us directly to a striking vision that was recently shared by a prominent Brazilian spiritualist. She has over 23 million followers. She described a massive craft descending directly over the Brazil versus Scotland match in Miami on June 24th, taking over 700 fans and players. Now, I know what you're thinking right now. It sounds completely unbelievable, and that's probably what everyone online is saying too. But I don't believe she made this up. I believe her, and I believe she was shown a glimpse of an event that holds extreme importance for humanity, especially right now as we enter a period of massive spiritual awakening and great change. Let me show you what else is happening simultaneously. Once you see the bigger picture, I'm hoping this event won't sound outrageous at all. It will look like a divine purpose, which is exactly the way I see it. This vision comes out of Brazil, a land long known for deep spiritual significance and unexplainable phenomena. But let's pause here. The unexplainable is actually completely explainable. When you look with true discernment, look past the limited narrative given to us by NASA and the European Space Agency, and combine real-world data with unaltered, ancient biblical knowledge, everything suddenly makes perfect sense. To understand why, we have to look at what is happening directly above Brazil. This region is the epicenter of the South Atlantic anomaly, a massive localized weak spot in Earth's magnetic shield. Because the shield is failing here, the inner Van Allen radiation belt, which traps high-energy solar particles, has dipped dangerously low, down to just 120 miles above the Earth. When NASA satellites or the International Space Station fly through this zone, they are bombarded by intense radiation that causes computer crashes, data corruption, and hardware failure. But if we look at this from God's perspective, this magnetic shield is His divine design, a celestial filter protecting biological life from the raw intensity of the heavens. In spiritual terms, a thinning veil means the boundary between the physical realm and the supernatural is becoming porous. Let's look at the evidence here. High-energy particles are actively leaking through the barrier. Astronauts passing through this zone report seeing strange flashes of light even with their eyes closed. Science calls it a cosmic phenomenon, but spiritually, the human eye is perceiving unveiled energy, God's light. The technical glitches and system crashes represent the failure of man-made systems as the divine order of our world begins to shift. Stay with me here because we're about to take a massive leap across the Atlantic and everything is about to tie together. Mainstream agencies use the word anomaly to make you think there is no known explanation. But there is an explanation. They just don't want to tell you because it points directly to God. I would be so pleased to tell you what they're hiding. The spiritual engine causing our veil to thin is a divine power that has sat dormant for 3,400 years, dating back to the 15th century BC. BC! And right now, it is powering up. I am talking about the ancient Ark of the Covenant, an artifact the world thinks is lost, but has been divinely preserved in Aksum, Ethiopia. The Ark is God's literal footstool, a physical bridge connecting earth to the divine. Unbeknownst to the world, a massive surge of spiritual energy has begun to pulse from the most holy spot on earth. Directly beneath the Ark, miles deep in the earth, sits a massive continent-sized foundation of dense, superheated rock. Geologists call it a large, low shear velocity province. But it is truly the African stone, the literal foundation of the continent. And there are only 2 of these massive structures inside the earth. Scientists call them anomalies, naming them the African anomaly, Tuzo, and the Pacific anomaly, Jason. But this is no accident. The Ark is using this massive heavy metal foundation as a divine conductor, anchoring and amplifying its signal, sending the frequency of God's raw presence deep into the roots of our world. As the Ark's power surges through Earth's foundations, it triggers a reverse flux. Normally, our magnetic lines project outwards, like a protective shield. But right now, and for the first time, they are looping back inward. The planet is acting like a massive spiritual engine, reversing its flow, building internal electromagnetic pressure for a divine purpose. NASA calls the resulting South Atlantic anomaly a pothole in space. But it isn't a pothole. It is a literal tearing of the dome that separates us from God's heaven. That's right, I said a dome. This weakness is now splitting into 2 distinct globes, stretching directly toward Africa. The veil is being pulled back specifically over the place where God's footstool rests. This brings us back to this timeline. The first event hits on June 24th, during the World Cup match in Miami. When that massive craft descends, do not panic. In her vision, Vo Bahiana was explicitly told, "You have to save humanity." The hundreds of people taken will not be harmed. They will be completely safe. They are answering a divine calling to help awaken our world. This event is a grace, a necessary precursor, meant to steady our minds and reveal the hidden realities of our universe. It is a wake-up call to prepare us for what comes next. Because just weeks later, on August 12th, we reach the final switch. As the sun, the moon, and the stars align with biblical prophecy, Earth's internal pressure will reach its peak. The veil over our world won't just be thin, it will completely fall. What scientists call a shifting core is actually a foundational shift in the divine timeline. Our current age is ending. Everything hidden in darkness is coming to light. Secular media is calling the August alignment the cosmic event of the century, but that is a massive understatement. This specific celestial alignment has never occurred in 5,000 years of recorded history. You won't find the full truth of this online because these signs were meant only for His people, for us, not for those who walk in darkness. They have to be surprised. Go watch my previous videos where I have already broken down the exact celestial signs, and the second video which reveals exactly what is prophesied to occur on August 12th. And until then, stay centered, act from divine awareness, not panic. This is a gift of preparation. Just as the Bible prophecies and the signs in the skies above us, these are all gifts of preparation that our God has given to us. Until then, stay centered. Act from divine awareness, not panic. This is a gift of preparation to help us face the true reality of our universe with open eyes and steady hearts. Remember, we are all part of something much greater than ourselves.